Did you want to sing The Wheels on the Bus in order to test it?
That's actually a really good idea. You ready? We're going to do it together.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
The wheels on the bus go round and round. This is where you come in on round and round.
I'm sorry,
You got to do the hand motions, too.
I can't do it. We're talking Itsy Bitsy Spider. It might be a different game.
Oh, I got Itsy Bitsy Spider all day long.
Okay, well... No, I know those.
I'm doing it with my hands right now. I'm doing the hand motions right now, just so you can see.
Thank you. It's really good. Speaking of spiders...
That's a great intro.
And of buses, they often go as well.
We've got an exciting topic today on... Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Betsy.
And this is Guy Talks.
Girl rolls her eyes.
Today we're talking the zoo.
The zoo.
The zoo is something I have recently, since the birth of my child basically, had a lot of experience with. And prior to Gabe's arrival, really hadn't been to the zoo since I was a little kid. I kind of took a long vacation from the zoo.
Well, because I feel like the zoo you go to fairly often as a kid, even in school. Like, it's a very common field trip destination. So as you get older, it kind of loses its allure.
Yeah, well, so I think you know this about me, but I have some pretty strong ambivalence about the zoo.
Yeah.
And it used to be that I was not ambivalent at all. I was very clear that I didn't like the zoo. But now I have ambivalence because my kid loves the zoo. Right. It's a great place to kill time with him. It's outside. He can get a little exercise running around. He freaks out when he sees the animals. So, like, there's a lot of joy to be had at the zoo with a little kid, hence the ambivalence. But I also have some pretty strong negative feelings about the zoo.
Well, right, and caging animals and keeping animals in captivity. I fall sort of on that side of things. Although I do have to admit that while I was living in Chicago, they have a beautiful zoo that's right downtown and free to
Lincoln
the public.
Park?
Lincoln Park Zoo is great.
Yeah.
And honestly, a really great cut through. Like, if you're down there doing something, you could just walk right through the zoo and check it out.
Wait, what do you mean free? We must be talking about a different zoo. The Lincoln Park Zoo is not free.
It is free. The admission is free
for
to get
residents?
into the zoo. No, for everybody. You have to pay for parking, but you do not have to pay to get into the zoo.
Oh, see.
And they rip you off with parking. It's like $35 a day.
Oh, yeah.
But there's not a lot of parking.
Because I remember shelling out a lot of money.
Well,
to
right,
go to
and
the Lincoln Park Zoo.
if you want to do food or anything like that, but they have the zoo itself is totally free, and then admission, I should say, is totally free, and they have like this really cute petting zoo and stuff for little kids.
Mm-hmm.
I never went there because I didn't have a little kid with me, and that felt creepy to be hanging out in a petting zoo. Also, I don't like to touch a lot of animals. You know this,
right?
Although this weekend I did hold a chicken.
Wait, what? For what reason?
Well, I was spending some time in Virginia with some good friends of mine who pretty much live in a zoo. They have 5 dogs, 2 cats, and 4 chickens. 3 chickens, 1 just passed away.
Oh, rest in peace.
And I'd never held a chicken before, but ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be one of those people that lived in the city and had like my city life, which I do and have had, but wanted to vacation to the country in the weekends. Like, I want a country home. So
you wanted to be Zsa Zsa Gabor in Green Acres. Wasn't it Zsa Zsa in Green Acres? Do you remember the show Green Acres?
I know. I've never seen it, I don't think.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me.
No, I understand. I remember it. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I know the theme song.
The concept of the show was rich city girl marries a guy who moves to the farm, and now she's, the fish out of water story kind of a thing.
That's perfect. That's the life I want, but I don't need to be rich.
Oh, well, that's easy to achieve then.
I just really like nature and being outside and anyway. So Mandy made me hold a chicken this weekend.
She allowed you to hold a chicken.
It took me about 3 days to coax me into it. And then she gave me the chicken that had an unfortunate accident and it has a beak, but not like a normal beak, so it couldn't peck me or hurt me in any way.
It was like a blunted beak?
Yes.
So she gave you like a safety chicken.
Correct. She gave me, her name is Fiona. She gave me Fiona the safety chicken.
Fiona the safety chicken.
So I held it for a few minutes until Mandy dared me to try and kiss it. which apparently I got real brave.
Chickens don't have lips.
No, I was just going to kiss it on the top of its head.
I see.
I tried. Fiona did not want to kiss me back.
She was not interested?
She started freaking out.
Oh, dear. Fiona has some intimacy issues?
Apparently, which, I have a giant bubble of, personal space around me at all times.
Right, but you invited that chicken right in.
I let Fiona in.
Yeah, and then she rejected you.
Yeah, she started flapping her wings, and I started to panic, so I dropped her, which was fine. She's a chicken.
Do you feel like maybe this has spoiled you on future chicken interactions?
I felt like it was positive. I got one good photo.
Oh, okay.
What I didn't post on Instagram were all the other photos when I started freaking out, which, of course, Mandy took photos of.
I think we're going to need a photo of you and Fiona the safety chicken on our Facebook page. Can you make that happen?
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. And preferably not the good one. I want one of the horrifying pictures of you and Fiona and the safety chicken. Can you make that happen?
I can make that happen.
Yes.
I do have it. I do have
good.
The picture.
That's so good. We're going to post that today as a teaser for this episode before it even goes live. Meet Fiona the safety chicken.
Meet Fiona, our friend Fiona.
That's really wonderful.
So I don't go to the petting zoo because I don't really want to pet the animals, but I do like the zoo. I feel bad for the animals, though.
Yeah. Before we talk about sad feelings about the animals, let's talk about the petting zoo for a moment.
Okay.
So at the Milwaukee Zoo, which is a high-quality zoo, I think.
It's a nice zoo.
They also have a family farm, is what they call it. There's a petting zoo. Among other things, it also has a big, huge playground and stuff for kids to run around and an ice cream
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sometimes when kids are younger and they have to put a dog to sleep or a cat to sleep or something,
yeah,
and parents will tell their kids they sent them to the farm.
To the farm upstate.
Do you think all the kids are now thinking that the dog is at the zoo since the family farm is at the zoo?
Oh, that would be terribly confusing.
It would be so confusing because then we'll use your son, for instance. You don't have a dog and did not put a dog to sleep. Although I do have strong feelings about you geting one, as you know. I've offered to get one several times for you.
And then immediately putting it to sleep?
No, please don't do that because
Okay.
dogs are the most wonderful creature. But I would feel like Gabe would be so confused. He would go to the family farm looking for
Just walk
Reggie,
around
your dog.
looking for Reggie, the dog that I instantly put to sleep.
Yeah, first of all, Reggie's a great name for a dog. For those of you out there looking for dog names.
That is a good dog name.
Reggie's a great name.
Yeah.
Second of all, you would never put it to sleep right away. I was just using that as an example.
Right. Yeah, so I could see some concerns there, just like sorrowful 4-year-olds wandering the family farm, calling out the name of their recently deceased pet.
Bosco, come here.
Where's my guinea pig, Hector? Hector the guinea pig.
Vanessa. Our guinea pig was named Vanessa.
Vanessa?
My brother named her when we were little. Her name was
sultry.
Vanessa.
That's a sultry name for a guinea pig.
Yeah, he was definitely in second grade and chose the name Vanessa.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So here's my thing about the petting zoo section of the zoo is all there really is at the petting zoo is just goats.
Or sheep. I was going to guess sheep, but yeah.
Oh, see, there's no sheep at the Milwaukee
Oh, maybe I'm getting goats
zoo.
and sheep confused.
There's no cows.
Bunnies?
There are cows, but you can't get near them.
Okay.
There are bunnies, but they're behind glass. There are chicks and chickens, and also behind glass. So the only thing you really get to pet at the petting zoo, at least at the Milwaukee Zoo, are goats. And I'm going to be honest, goats are little punks. They're not courteous or polite. They don't sit there and enjoy being pet by small children. They just attack your hands because they think your hands have food pellets, and they just go after it.
So you're saying they're mean kids then?
Oh, boo on that.
That was good.
Oh,
that was really good.
I actually turned my stomach a little.
/ you're a little jealous you didn't think of it first.
It was pretty punny.
Yeah.
So Gabe and I went there the other day with Carolyn. She was also there because this was on the weekend. And we went to the petting zoo, and Carolyn, who has more zoo experience than me.
Oh, she's a zoo expert.
She's a veteran of this experience. Hung back wisely. And I, unknowingly, a rookie to the petting zoo, strolled right into the goat enclosure with my hands full of goat feed out of the little dispensers.
Which you paid $74 for.
No, it's quarters. It's still quarter machines there. So I didn't feel like I was getting taken. I don't think the price on that has gone up since I was a little kid. So they're clearly not adjusting for inflation.
Huh.
But I'm guessing they still turn a profit on the goat feed.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Anyway, I walk in with hands full of goat feed and am instantly mobbed by goats from all sides.
Wait, was Gabe with you?
Yeah, he was there. But they just obviously they ignore him. They went up and sniffed him a little bit, but it was clear he had no goat feed. And the goats are relatively smart. They know who buys the goat feed.
Do they know who buys the goat feed, or do
They know who buys the goat feed.
Or do they know who holds the goat feed?
I think they know both. I think their primary focus is on who's holding it, but I think they know who turns the crank. They know who's got the quarters.
I would really like you to do a research project on that.
That's a really good idea. How would you design that experiment?
I wouldn't design that experiment.
No,
That's
you
why I
wouldn't.
just challenged you to do it.
So I kept putting the goat feed in Gabe's little hand, and instantly the goats are all over him, just like mobbing on his tiny little hand, and he's freaking out.
Freaking out in a good way or a bad way?
Kind of in a bad way. Yeah, he was
that's
frightened.
good parenting.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I wanted him to have the goat experience. I thought I was doing a good job.
He could wait till he's 33. It works for me that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was fine. But so eventually he calms down. He gets to pet a little baby goat. He's happy. But I'm just like, I'm walking out of there, first of all, 50 cents short. Second of all, my hand's covered in goat slobber. And third, basically feeling like I got used by this mob of goats.
It's not a good feeling,
No,
is
I
it?
felt like I needed to go take a shower.
You did probably need to take a shower.
I did. I definitely washed my hands. The nice thing is that they had sinks on the other side of the goat enclosure. So when you leave, you can wash your hands.
I'm really glad you said that. I thought you were going to say they had like giant things of hand sanitizer.
Oh, yeah, just 2 pumps.
Which would start a whole other tangent because put hand sanitizer on the topics of things we should discuss
All
someday.
right, yeah, that's on the list. That's on the list for sure.
I could go on for hours about.
So let's circle back to the original zoo topic.
Yeah.
I remember as a little kid being excited to go to Como Zoo, the Como Park Zoo.
It's a beautiful zoo.
In Minneapolis. Very old. It's an old school, like open air park kind of zoo. And also the Minnesota Zoo, which is a beautiful modern zoo, or was at the time when they had a monorail and stuff like that.
Weirdly, I've been to both of those zoos.
Have you really?
Fairly recently, like in the last couple of years.
That is really weird. You don't live in Minnesota.
No, it is like my second favorite state, though.
Oh, high praise.
I would definitely live in Minnesota, no question about it. It's beautiful, it's clean, they have delicious food,
Yeah.
good restaurants.
It's a good state all
Two
around.
good zoos, apparently.
Two solid
which
zoos.
Which is clearly on my list of things I used to...
So here's what I remember. I remember having fond childhood memories of both of those zoos, but I also remember hitting a certain age and starting to get very sad at the zoo. And I don't remember what age that is. Maybe my parents remember. I'll ask them this weekend. But I remember, especially at Como Zoo, because Como was the older ones, and so it was a lot of these big cement enclosures. And by big, I mean not big. For the animal, it looked big to me as a child. But there was, like, the polar bear, I think, was the most distressing to me. Because, and all the bears really, but the polar bear was in a relatively small cement box, essentially, with a little moat, not even a swimming area. And in the heat of the summer, this polar bear would just basically pace back and forth.
Panting.
15 feet one way and then 15 feet back. Yeah, panting. And he just, even to me as let's say a 7-year-old, it was very obvious to me that this bear was not where he should be. And that his life sucked.
Well, right. And if somebody were to enter that pen for any reason, he would maul them.
Murder time, yeah.
Which, by the way, polar bears, always depicted as this really friendly, warm, cozy bear.
Not on Game of Thrones.
Not true at all.
Polar bear will murder you.
One of the most vicious types of bear.
Ice bear.
Coca-Cola, what were you thinking?
Oh, the Coca-Cola bears, they're terrifying.
They're not terrifying. That's the problem. They should be terrifying.
Caffeinated bears.
Kids are so excited to see them, and they're like, oh, look at the cute Coca-Cola bear.
I'm going to go give it a hug.
I'm going to go give it a hug. And then I might get my head eaten.
That's the worst part of you, to have eaten by a bear.
It really is.
It's hard to come back from that one.
It really is. Yeah, I agree with the caging of animals at the zoo. It just feels... They try and make them look natural, I understand, but they're all very sad.
Yeah. So I heard a really great podcast, and obviously we plug this podcast all the time, but I'll do it again. Josh and Chuck, Stuff You Should Know, did a great episode on zoos. And in this episode, they explored both sides of this issue pretty extensively. And they talk about...
Is that not what you feel like we're doing here?
I don't think we're quite... I don't think we're getting quite as granular as they did, but obviously we're doing it justice. Great job, us. They talk about a guy who I think was back in the 60s, kind of started this zoo revolution where he did some research and did a rehab on this zoo and expanded the size of the enclosures and tried to make them more like the natural habitat and included greenery and things like this, all in an effort to make animals more comfortable and to, extend their life and their health and all this stuff. And some really good things came out of that. And there is some evidence to show that makes a difference, right? Animals in captivity who have these kinds of enclosures, like at the Milwaukee Zoo, which is, again, beautiful. They got some great spaces. The Lincoln Park Zoo, even better. Some huge, wide open areas where, the monkeys or whatever have lots of space to ramble around and or even hide and be out of sight and those kinds of things, which is great. But even in the face of that, to me, it still comes back to this idea of, but they're still in a cage, right? So as big as you make this enclosure, you still have to make it an enclosure. You still have to make it small enough so that your average zoo patron doesn't wander around all day for $35 of parking and not see animals, or you're not going to have a zoo. So that necessitates you keeping, let's say, your average chimp or bonobo or whatever, pick your ape.
Oh, I will. I will pick my ape.
Go ahead, pick now.
I'm going to go chimpanzee.
Yeah, chimp. I'm going to go silverback gorilla.
Always got to one up.
That's a beast. That is a
I'm going to be honest with you. I went
beast.
chimpanzee because I don't know any specific breeds of gorillas or chimpanzees. I don't.
You don't have a list of great apes in the back of your
No,
mind?
I don't spend nearly as much time at the zoo as you do. I can't read all of the signs all the time.
A lot of time at the zoo.
I'm mostly there for the ice cream anyway. Everybody knows that.
They do have decent ice cream.
They do, and they have like the truck, like the hand trucks that are always everywhere.
Yeah,
I get it at least 2 or 3 times per visit.
Wow.
Which is like $24 probably at the end
That's
because
a serious investment.
to get ice cream shaped like a gorilla, you have to pay $8.95 for it.
But it tastes better when you pay that much.
Definitely does.
Delicious.
Definitely.
So, these animals, the chimp, the silverback, they would normally range for miles. They have a territory. Silverbacks have a territory that is huge, like square miles. They don't just hang out even in a very large building worth of space, even if you have an aircraft hangar size enclosure, like some of the ones at the Lincoln Park Zoo are. You're still containing that animal and you're limiting what it's able to do. And it no longer lives like it does in the wild. So you haven't truly domesticated it. Like, it's not safe, as we talked about, to climb in with the polar bear and hang out. But
and we hear about the people every year. There's at least one who chooses to do that.
I mean, really?
Or the tigers.
Or people who bring these animals into their homes. On Facebook, literally this morning, I saw like a 10-second video clip of this guy reclined on his couch with a giant monitor lizard draped across him, like a Komodo dragon-size lizard. And it was like, how cool to have this as a pet. I've seen a lot of these lately. Like, this is a recent trend of people with ludicrous animals. Or and I think it's my cousin's wife, Amanda, who's been reposting some of these. Yep. Like a fox, domesticate a fox and bring it into your house. Like, a fox will eat your face in the night.
It will definitely eat small dogs. My parents have a fox problem near their house, and you got to watch over the small dogs.
But a Komodo dragon or
I don't
like
know
a
if it eats it.
monitor lizard,
I
a
should
monitor
clarify.
lizard will eat your children.
I know it will kill small dogs. I do not know if it will eat them.
We'll probably nibble on them. It's not just going to kill them for fun, right?
Gosh, just watch your dogs.
I don't, as we've discussed, I don't have any dogs. And if I did, they'd be at the farm by now.
Wow, your son is just in the other room.
I know. He doesn't know yet.
He's here.
How terrible his dad is. So as we've dialed down here, the zoo is a place that is a little bit sad, but there's also a lot of joy at the zoo.
Well, and the zoo holds one thing it holds lots of things, obviously. But as somebody that doesn't have kids, when I take a child to the zoo, like, for instance, my best friend has 2 kids, and they are both younger. And so when I want to play, like, hero Auntie Bets, I take them to the zoo. First, I take them to the beach. Then I take them to the zoo, because I really like to pack those days full.
Yeah.
Because I don't get that many of them with them. And so you can't lose when you take a kid to the zoo.
Instant win.
So her son, his name is Evan, he really loves Batman. He is, of that age where he's totally into superheroes, obsessed with Batman.
Awesome.
We'd been at the zoo for a couple of hours. This was last summer. We're at the Lincoln Park Zoo. And Evan says to me, I'm getting tired. I want to go home. And I said, okay, well, let's just see one more thing. What is it that you want to see? And he said, I want to see the Bat Cave.
Yeah.
Now, me, as an adult at the zoo, I'm picturing an actual bat cave in my mind because that's what they have at the zoo. I am not thinking of it from the perspective of a 4-year-old little boy
who loves Batman.
So I get really excited and take Evan right over to the bat cave. We walk in, it's dark, it's all in glass. I'm so excited. He is so disappointed. I honestly...
He's like, where is the Batmobile?
He was so just flabbergasted that I thought I had done something good. Like, the audacity of Auntie Bets to bring me to this room, this dark room with bats in it, and call that a bat cave.
That's awesome.
It was a real lose for me. It's a fail.
That's a really great story.
And it's 100% true.
I
think I was sadder than he was. I was so disappointed in myself.
Yeah. Well, how could you know?
How could I know?
And also, what an illogical demand for that 4-year-old to place on you. We're at the zoo. What's one more thing you'd like to go see? And he offers up an imaginary place that exists only in comic books.
Well, that's not true.
Thanks, Evan. Nice try.
Bats live in a cave.
No, I mean, I know, but that's not what he was asking for.
Well, right.
This is the crux of the problem, is that this 4-year-old ridiculously requested something that obviously could not be provided. What did he want you to do? Open a magical portal into another dimension where comic books are real?
Let's clarify. I really love him, so I'm fine with it, and I would take him back to the zoo 1,000,000 times if that's what makes him happy. I would think twice next time if he asks me to see the Bat Cave. I'd clarify up front that there are, in fact, 2 versions of the Bat Cave. One that does not have Michael Keaton living in it.
Oh, Michael Keaton, the best
of the Batmans.
Yeah.
Mine too. Yeah, I agree.
Val Kilmer?
George Clooney?
What? Oh, so many disappointments.
No, George Clooney was not a disappointment.
No. But, well, after Michael Keaton, everybody was a little bit of a disappointment.
It's actually a really good point.
But Val Kilmer, can we just talk about that for a second?
I don't ever like to talk about Val Kilmer. I mean, it goes back to the Top Gun days. Like, I just can't even...
I mean, he was a solid Iceman, but I feel like you should have just left it there.
No one chews their gum like that. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about in podcast land, just watch a little Top Gun and look for Val Kilmer, and he chews his gum in the most obnoxious way and clicks his pen.
Oh, man. The Iceman.
The Iceman, it's too much for me.
That's good acting.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or is that who he is in real life? I don't know.
What? They just totally typecast him.
What happened to Val Kilmer, by the way?
Is he dead?
I don't think he's... No, I don't think so.
Maybe he climbed in a polar bear cage.
Maybe he's living in a bat cave.
Do you think
underground
he
somewhere?
Just really embraced it? When they didn't offer him the new role, he was like, I will always be the Batman. I hope so. I really, Val Kilmer, if you're one of our global audience, I really hope you're out there listening to us in a subterranean bat cave of your own design. And if so,
could you post that on the Facebook page?
Yeah, and a location as well, because Betsy's going to want to bring Evan the next time he asks.
I'm going to totally be the hero of that.
That's going to be great.
Little Evan's going to be so excited.
Speaking of the Facebook page, we want to give a shout out to the 2 people who have now commented and engaged on the Facebook page. One of whom is my cousin Jen, and the other of whom is your friend.
Our friend.
Our mutual friend.
Yeah, and the pastor of the podcast.
Wait, did I miss another one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I know who you're talking. Oh, you're talking about Brad.
Yeah, I'm talking about Brad.
You're talking about my friend Brad that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yes, he did post on
So
there.
3 comments.
No, 3.
Whoa.
Blowing minds.
Blowing up on the Facebooks. Yeah. We're breaking the internet.
Watch out, Kim Kardashian. We're coming for you.
Sorry, Al Gore.
That's not true. We're not coming for you.
No, we're going to stay far away.
So anyways, zoos are really great and full of really joyful things.
Yes, but zoos are also, so this is a place where I think, well, we've agreed a lot on this podcast and not rung the bell at all, so let's ring it once. Nice. I also want to say, and this I think is another place where we will agree, the zoo has a feature that we both really enjoy. And
ice
that
cream?
is, well, ice cream, yes, but also people watching.
Oh, phenomenal people watching.
The zoo has everything you would want to see at like a festival.
It's second only to state fairs, in my opinion.
It's right up there, but it happens every weekend.
Yes.
Almost year round.
Yes.
I mean, I've been to the zoo in January, which is not a good choice, by the way, but I've done it. And you still get to see some crazies.
Oh,
It's literally a zoo sometimes.
I know you're just trying
figuratively
to beat my mean kid comment, but that wasn't
bad.
good enough.
There's some really interesting humans at the zoo.
I particularly enjoy the people. Now, I understand strollers are just a given at a zoo.
Unavoidable.
They're totally unavoidable. But the people that bring their strollers do not put their children in the strollers and instead fill it with everything they own in order to go to the zoo for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, and 3 hours is a long stretch of zoo time for us. But an hour in it, we're in and out. Because we've got the zoo pass, so we're not paying per hour. So we don't care at all how long we stay at the zoo. I've gone to the zoo for under an hour. Just zip in, zip out. It's no problem. But yes, I've seen these humans. And it always makes me think, why didn't you get a wagon?
No, it always makes me think, are you moving here?
Now, I got to defend these people because we bring a lot of stuff to the zoo.
For a trip that lasts under an hour?
Well, 2-year-olds have a lot of demands. So you have to bring a blanket, okay, because they need something for their little butt to sit on. So if they're going to go in the wagon
or stroller
or stroller, well, you don't need it for the stroller, I guess. But if you're going anywhere on the shoulder seasons, if you're not in the middle of the summer where you know it's going to be warm at the zoo, if you're there basically up anytime through the middle of May or earlier, or anytime after the middle of September, you got to have a blanket or maybe 2 blankets. You're going to dress
in case you get cold. You need the second.
In case I get chilly,
right?
You've got to have the diaper bag and all the things that go in the diaper bag, and you can hang the diaper bag on the back of the stroller, so that works fine.
Yeah,
or you don't want to be lugging that thing around.
All right, but that's a bag and a blanket. Okay, so those are 2 things.
Right. Then you need food.
Does that not go in the diaper bag? Well, can you not put your container of Cheerios in the diaper bag?
You need more than just a container of Cheerios.
Go-Gurt? Is that what you feed him?
Oh, I try to avoid the Go-Gurt.
Yeah, it's too much for me.
I let other people
feed. A gag.
I let other people feed my kid Go-Gurt, but I don't feed my kid Go-Gurt.
Thank you.
So you got to have food. So you got a cheese stick, and you got a little peanut butter sandwich, and you got the milk, and that's got to be kept cold, so it needs the little insulated bag or whatever. You need all this stuff.
Okay, so that makes sense to me.
Right.
You got to keep, because food's so expensive at the zoo.
Very expensive.
You
don't
should
need
definitely bring your own. Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Especially
so maybe
for
a
kids.
cooler. Maybe you need a cooler.
Right, for the beer.
No, for the milk and the sandwiches.
Well, that too. So you need 2 coolers.
Are you
now.
allowed to drink at the zoo?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
See, this is what I'm saying. It's literally the festival every weekend. The Milwaukee Zoo sells beer,
Well, that's because it's in Milwaukee.
But you also...
Not sure if you know this.
I'm not sure it's legal to bring beer, but I regularly bring beer to the zoo.
You're just such a rule breaker.
Well, like I said, I don't know for sure that it's a rule. If anyone out there in our global audience works at the zoo and you know this rule, first of all, don't bust me. Second of all, let us know on the Facebook page if I'm breaking the rules or if this is allowed. Now, I want to say, I don't drink like 6 beers at the zoo, just to put that out there.
Good, because I actually, for a second, there was like, the zoo is like wholesome family fun.
Yeah, it's totally wholesome. I can have wholesome family fun. Like, if I have a bunch of neighborhood kids over and playing in the backyard and families over, like, we drink beer, it doesn't make it unwholesome. It's not like everybody gets, like, foul-mouthed and violent.
Okay, good. That's just what I'm just looking out for the kids
I don't
here.
bring whiskey to the zoo.
See, if you did, I may be more apt to go.
So I guess what I'm saying is, and it really depends on...
Wait.
It depends on your kid, too, because some kids love the zoo, and the zoo itself is all the entertainment they need. Some kids, you need some extra stuff with you.
Okay, so
some
I
toys or something.
Okay, that's where it gets me. I understand the food. I understand the diaper bag. I understand bringing an extra sweatshirt or a blanket. I understand all of that. I don't understand the scooters and the tricycles.
No, I would never.
And like every toy you got for Christmas last year.
That's silly.
You're at the zoo. Isn't that the entertainment?
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
Now, again, for all the listeners in podcast world, it's very clear I do not have children.
Yeah.
And likely someday,
you know of.
God willing, I do have children. I will likely be the worst offender of this rule. Because I will do anything to keep my children happy.
Well, and you're a checklist person, so you're going to make a giant checklist of everything we need to bring to the zoo.
I'm likely going to have like a Rubbermaid container that stays
labeled
in my
stuff.
SUV. No minivan for me. I don't think it's not going to work for me. But I'm going to keep it in there. It's going to be the zoo bin.
The zoo bin, definitely.
Then I don't have to ever worry about forgetting something. Sunscreen, bug spray.
This is the only thing where I would sort of draw the line. And I think this is just a matter of poor planning, like you didn't anticipate, which is I regularly find myself in an awkward position trying to hold open 2 like double doors at the zoo so that somebody can get their double wide stroller through the door because they didn't think it through. Like, first of all, don't ever buy a double wide stroller. Even if you have twins.
What if you have twins?
Then get one that is long.
Oh, I
get
understand.
the long one,
I understand.
right? The front and back, so one kid is like up higher and behind the other kid.
Oh, okay.
The double wides, you can't bring those anywhere. Like, you are signing yourself up for constant frustration and constantly asking for help from strangers. Like, it's already hard enough to get somebody to hold the door for you with a regular stroller.
Which is sad.
It is sad.
This is just a community service announcement.
Yeah.
And this is something my dad taught all of my siblings and I. So both of my siblings and I. When we were little, whenever you see a person with a stroller, you always stop and hold the door, no matter where you are.
Absolutely. Shame on you, society.
For you, those of you that do not hold the door, it's rude. Just stop 1 second.
But
hold the door.
having said that, shame on you, side-by-side stroller buyers, because...
Well, that's just not an informed buying decision,
Right.
maybe.
You just did not. And I get it. Like, when you're about to be a new parent, and especially when twins are coming, you've got to be just going completely nuts.
I would assume. I don't know.
I had no idea what I was doing. I did a ton of research on every purchase.
That is true. There were a lot of spreadsheets. I remember those.
So much research.
The diaper spreadsheet's the one that got me.
The diaper spreadsheet was really, it was, in the end, completely useless.
Right.
I did a lot of research and calculated the top-rated diapers that also had the lowest per-diaper cost on average, factoring in the Target 5% red card discount.
Yeah.
We love that Target. And in the end, what it came down to was my kid didn't like those diapers.
Well, or
we didn't like those diapers.
Or he has to go to the bathroom, so wrap him in something.
Right.
Like, go and buy whatever is most convenient.
At the end of the day, we just started buying the most expensive diaper on the list is what we buy all the time.
Well, I
just do my best to try to find discounts.
I feel like that's the kind of man you are. Just let's spend as much money as we possibly can
Not even
at
close.
all times.
So, like, I had all these factors in the spreadsheet of, like, cost per diaper, frequency of discount, whether it's, like, eco-friendly, because that was something that Carolyn wanted me to think about.
Right.
Since we weren't doing, initially she wanted to do the cloth, and I was like, you're you're an
I
insane
actually know a lot
person.
of people that do the cloth
Those-
and swear by it.
Mentally ill. There's no way.
No, it's
Yeah.
not mentally ill. I mean, it's just a different choice you make. Again, I don't have children.
I wish people out there could just see the stunned look on my face.
Again,
Have you ever changed a cloth diaper?
Yes, one
you?
time I believe.
Was it horrifying?
Maybe 2 times. No, it
Was it
wasn't
a real change or was it just a wet
It
diaper?
was a wet.
Okay, yeah,
it was a
forget
wet
it.
diaper.
You don't get to voice an opinion on this.
Okay.
Horrifying.
Okay. All right. That's your opinion.
Here's when I knew we weren't going to do this. Is that we had told everybody we were going to do this, and so my parents went out and bought us like a little starter pack of these things, and it came with a hose
Okay.
with a sprayer attachment that you attach to your toilet. And so there's like a hose hanging on the side of your toilet so that you can spray the poo, the solid, off the diaper into the toilet and flush it, which, again, makes a lot of sense. If you're going to do cloth diapers, that's where it goes. It goes right in the toilet, and that isn't that easy. And then I'm picturing myself a dozen times a day standing over my toilet with a hose in my hand.
You do have a very nice bathroom.
Right, which would
So, I mean,
instantly become no longer a nice place to be if there's a hose hanging off the side of my toilet.
That is your opinion.
It is. It's my strongly
That is
held
your opinion.
opinion.
We wore cloth diapers when we were babies. Not me and you, like my siblings.
This
and
is
I.
explaining a lot of things.
Were disposable diapers around? Yeah, they were around.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we bounced around a little bit here, but what this comes back to is,
You
though
need to
I
take
understand
every belonging you have to the zoo with you.
you need a lot of stuff. Not everything. I think we've drawn the line here on tricycles and things like that. But you need some stuff, and that makes for a lot of juggling. And so what makes me laugh at the zoo is watching people try to. So we have one kid, and it's a lot to juggle. It's 2 humans, 2 adult humans, and 1 tiny human.
Sometimes with grandparents, so
And
4 adult humans.
Yeah, sometimes we've got allies, or we often go with friends.
Allies.
and so you kind of track your children together. But I see sometimes parents there with like 4 or 5 kids and 1 grown-up. And these kids are mobile. Like these are 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, like a whole squad. And it's clear that this is not in control. And the zoo's a big place, but I think parents imagine that since there's walls around it, that like we'll be fine. Like if I lose one, we'll just come up with them again later. Like we'll see each other at some point and find this 5-year-old that wanders off to look at the giraffes. Okay, speaking of giraffes, this is the last thing I want to say about the zoo.
That's my favorite animal at the zoo.
It's also Gabe's favorite animal. He loves the giraffes.
Do you think it's because both Gabe and I are not tall human beings? He'll be much taller. Give him
Eventually.
probably like a year, and he'll pass me up. On his 3rd birthday, he will. By the way, happy birthday to Gabe this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, the big
it's
2.
Going to be 2.
The big 2.
The big.
The big deuce.
The big deuce.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Just
So we go.
pulls us right around to the diaper.
So we go
conversation.
see the giraffes, and he's got flashcards for a lot of other animals, and so he's been learning what do the animals say. So you show him the elephant, and he goes, "Roar," and you show him the lion, and he goes, "Rawr." And you show him the giraffe.
Yeah, what do they?
No, we didn't know. So we would just go silent every time we get to the giraffe flashcard.
I feel like they're sort of silent.
They're not a loud animal, no.
No.
So then we're at the zoo, and we walk up to the giraffes, and he's very excited. And also with us are our friends, the Janses, and so their daughter Lena is there, and she's about Gabe's age, almost exactly Gabe's age. And they're both excited to see the giraffes, and so I get down low next to them, and I say, "What does the giraffe say?" And neither of them has any idea, and so I just go, which, if you can't see it out there in podcast land, I'm just wobbling my face back and forth to make that noise. And I'm just kind of laughing like I did this as just a one-off. And both kids immediately get really excited, like they just learned something they've been waiting to learn forever. And the rest of the day, they're going every time I go, "What does the giraffe say?" And they're pointing at the giraffe and going. And to this day, in fact, we can go out and talk to him in a minute here. If you ask Gabe what the giraffe says,
I'm going to ask Gabe what the giraffe says.
he's all about it. So this was the first moment, and I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. People who know me know that I've been eagerly anticipating the first moment where I get to lie to my child, where he just embraces it. Because
see, there, this podcast was going so well for you, and now you just totally
They're just
tanked it
they're
for yourself.
He's a blank slate, and you can tell him anything, and he just will totally believe it, which is so awesome. Well, how do I ignore that kind of power?
Apparently you don't.
I don't.
I'm going to need you to stop doing that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. It's so wonderful. Betsy, I think this is a good time as any to announce our podcast pal.
I think so, too. I knew you were going to do that.
Let's do it one more time. As you know, there's no lumps in my pulp, so I really couldn't let that just hang out there. Who's our podcast pal going to be this week? I feel like last episode, we kind of blew it.
Why did we blow it?
Well, we picked someone who I thought was perfect, Mike Tack.
No, our last episode was not Mike Tack.
Oh, no, you're right. It was Valet.
Right.
But we still haven't heard from Mike Tack. It's like he hasn't even listened to the episode.
I think he stopped listening.
Now, we would never retract a podcast pal
We'd consider
award.
it, though. We would consider it.
But I hope he didn't skip that episode. Like, what if he just saw the topic and he was like, meh, and then skipped to international foods featuring Valet? That would be a big miss on his part.
Yeah, although he does like Valet, so.
Yeah. Maybe we need to be announcing podcast pals on the Facebook page, too.
No, I actually prefer it this way because it really allows us to know who's actually listening.
Podcast pal as test. I like it.
Correct.
Well, speaking of, I'm actually late for lunch with one of our podcast pals, so we better announce this right away.
Great.
I think our podcast pal for this week is going to be my cousin's husband, which I guess makes him my cousin-in-law?
Yeah.
Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say that.
Tom Clements.
Tom.
Big Tom, as he's known.
Oh, Big Tom.
Big Tom. And
is it because he's actually big, or is he actually a really small
No,
human
he's
being?
physically big.
Oh, okay.
And his personality also.
Is large.
Big personality.
All right.
There's a lot of Tom.
Big Tom.
Big Tom.
Big Tom's listening to us where?
He's listening to us in Nebraska,
Ooh.
but is originally from Canada, expanding our global audience.
That's right.
We're
he may have been our original global audience.
Right, that could be. So shout out to Big Tom.
Big Tom, thanks for listening.
Podcast pal this week. And for all of you out there, we want to know what you think about what we're up to. So get on that Facebook page, subscribe to the podcast, and let us know. We want to hear from you.
We do.
That's all for this week. This has been Guy Talks.
Girl rolls her eyes.